and glory goes to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash. Double honor to the apostles of Great Millstone and salutations unto the legmen feeding the sheep of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, in sincerity and the truth with this great gospel. With this great gospel coming out of our Bible. We're going to get into this lesson, right? This lesson is about how these people in Babylon the Great, they're going to realize their freedom and their rights are vanishing, right? Their freedom and their rights are vanishing because that's what they were prideful about, right? The right to bear arms, free speech, the right to congregate and protest, right? The right to health care, the right to this, the right to that. It's like they feel like being here in Babylon the Great, they're supposed to have all these things, right? Because when you go around the world to these other countries, people can't just speak out and say what they want, right? Go to an Arab country and speak out against their Muslim society and see what happens, right? Go to Moab's country and speak out against President Xi's way of operating his country. Go to Persia, right? Go to Iran and try to operate outside of their limits and see what happens and speak outside their limits. A lot of these countries, you can't bear no arms, right? You can't bear no arms. You can't speak out against the government. You don't have the right for nothing. But here in Babylon the Great, they think they got the right to do whatever they want to do. So they're finding out that, no, you don't got no rights. And here's Whoopi Goldberg speaking out, right? It says Whoopi Goldberg. Let's get that. Whoopi Goldberg faces scrutiny over renewed comments on Holocaust, right? She's always speaking out against the small hats. And her last name is Goldberg. She got a small hat last name, right? Whoopi Goldberg is facing fresh scrutiny for remarks about Holocaust after she previously drew backlash for claiming the genocide was not about race. So what's the issue going on right now? You got the children of Israel, the Israelites speaking out against the Israelis, right? You got the real Jews speaking against the Jewish people, right? And it's becoming an issue from Kanye West, from Nick Cannon, right? All these celebrities, all these people in the so-called mainstream media are bringing out to light information about who we call the small hatters, right? I'm reading, it says, in an interview with Sunday Times published Saturday, The View co-host told the London-based newspaper that the Holocaust wasn't originally based on race. Remember who they were killing first. They were not killing racially, they were killing physical. They were killing people that they considered to be mentally defective, and then they made this decision, she said. Right? Times journalist Janice Turner pushed back. Noting to the 67-year-old actress and comedian that the race laws Nazi Germany officials implemented targeting Jewish people. When Turner reiterated that Nazis saw Jews as a race, Goldberg replied, yes, but that's the killer, isn't it? The oppressor isn't telling you what you are. Why are you believing them? They're Nazis. Why believe what they're saying? It doesn't change the fact that you could not tell a Jew on a street. What did she say? It does not change the fact that you could not tell a Jew on the street. Goldberg added, you couldn't find me. You could find me. You couldn't find them. Right? So they felt offended by this. Right? She's saying you can't tell a Jew on the street because we know through the Balfour Declaration, they took Jews from Poland, from Russia, from Ukraine, from all these different parts of Europe, and then they brought them to the land of Israel, right? They brought them to the land of Israel through a proclamation, and then they set up shop in that land, and 30 to 40 years later, they done occupied more than 60 to 75% of that land, right? And now you got war between them and the so-called Palestinians, which they're not no Palestinians. The word Palestinian is for Philistines. They're not those people, right? So we already know that you got it's a lot of invaders in our land, illegitimate seeds in our land that don't belong there. And what is the Lord going to do? The Lord's going to remove them soon. Let's get these verses. I'm going to go to the book of Ezekiel 36, verse 5. It reads, "Therefore thus saith Yahweh power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession." Yeah, you got Idumeans over there, you got Ishmaelites over there, you got Hamites over there, you got Elamites over there, you got all type of mixed multitude of heathens and Gentiles over there in our land, right? I'm reading it again. "Therefore thus saith the Lord power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of their hearts, with despiteful minds it to cast it out for prey." Yeah, they took our land. We had to flee up out of our land when you go back to 70 AD, right? 70 AD. Jake had to flee into Asia, into Africa, into all these different parts, right? After what we were surrounded by the Roman Empire. We got taken down by the Roman Empire, right? So, and the history is that it's like you've been cut off in history. The only time the furthest back they're going to go to your history as you Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans is to what? Is to when you've been invaded by the conquistadors and you've been invaded by the Spaniards, when you've been taken into captivity and brought into another land, right? They don't tell you nothing before that time, because while you was in rulership in the Dark Ages, right? You was the one who took down the Roman Empire. You was the one in power here in the Americas, right? And who are you? You are the children of Israel. But this truth, they don't want it to come out. They don't want it to come out. I'm going to bring this out right here. This is Luke 8:17. It says, "For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest." Right? Nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest. And these things are being brought to light. Because at one time you had to search through books and encyclopedias. And what did Esau do in the 2000s, right? In the 2000s, so we got the truth around, 2009, 2010. So from that time, Salaki, 2008, Salaki, 2008, 2009, we started going to the libraries and looking for certain books. And one thing we were finding out, man, these books were not in the library. These books had disappeared, and we asked the librarian, "Where are the books?" Some people coming through, they're taking a lot of certain books and they're sending them to Washington. She said they were sending these books to Washington, right? And the certain books that they were sending back was like the books that the apostles and the elders were telling us to go look for. Certain type of books. We found one book with the Lord's name in it. Yeah, me and the brother, man, we going through the library. The Lord sent me in a section. We found a book with the Lord's name in it. And it was crazy. I took a picture of it, and that was a couple years back. But the thing is, I'm going to read Luke 8:17. "For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad." One thing the Lord do, he reiterate what he say. You go to Mark 4:22, "For there is nothing hid which shall not be manifested, neither was anything kept secret, but it shall come abroad." Right? The manifestation, the truth of who are really the chosen people of the Lord, right? That was a hidden thing for a long time. We are the lost children of the 12 tribes of Israel, the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So how did you get lost? Through Esau's manipulation of information. Manipulation of information, changing of names, changing of times, right? He changed the name of the lands, right? It's hard for you to trace back who you are when the name of that land got changed, when the map got changed, when information got changed, when information disappeared. It's like a case. You're trying to solve a case, and it happened to be the department that you work for are the criminals. And so guess what? A lot of evidence is being hid. A lot of evidence is being taken away. But what the Lord said, Mark 4:22, "For there is nothing hid which shall not be manifest." Yeah, the truth is out here. The truth is out here. We know who are God's chosen people. God's chosen people are in a suffering state right now. God's people are at the bottom. God's people are not at the top. God's people are in the hands of their enemies, right? God's people don't run the media. God's people don't run um, the clothing industry, the music industry, the news industry. The God's people don't own no banks, right? God's people face is not the elites, the face of the elites, right? And read it again, Mark 4:22. For there is nothing hid which shall not be manifest, neither was anything kept secret, but that it should come abroad.